emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters in your areas have been wiped out by an unidentified enemy. Your state is asking every citizen who owns a weapon to arm yourselves, stay inside, and barricade all your entrances. Keep your children away from the windows. If you have a cellar or safe room, head there now until further instructions. If you believe in God, this is a time to pray for us all. This is not a test.
Guys, we have imposters in our country. You ever played Among Us? Anybody ever heard of that game? Where you have to figure out who the imposters are? Well, I feel like America is that game right now called Among Us. And we are definitely finding out who the imposters are without even having to do much work. I have to woosah. Bro. Today has been the most trying day of my political commentating career. I can deal with the trolls. I can deal with people being stupid. I can deal with all that. All that doesn't bother me. People are people. I think Russo summed it up perfectly. I'm kind of tired of towing the line and going by rules, sticking to how to create content. Don't say this, you can't say that. I'm tired of that now. It's been an entire year of us playing by the rules, trying to be nice, not offending people for a whole year. And I'm done. I'm done. I was done today when I got locked out of my account for simply going live. I was really done when I found out these idiots are scamming people like that. That is the weirdest thing ever, bro. I'm just over today. I really am. Dr. Fauci's getting exposed for his lies. I can't see anybody's comments. So if you're commenting, I don't see shit. That's all I see. I'm waiting for Eric too. And Russo's probably still alive, which is why nobody's here. But it's a rough day, man. Now you got Cap. I'm not even going to BS. I was like, what was I doing? What's happening?
What's going on?
Something I can't remember. I was back here doing something. And I just yelled fuck really loud.
Hey, it's been one of those days for you, Suni. I think an F-bomb is an appropriate response to the day you're having right now.
It's rough, man. I can't even fake a smile. And it's not even like I'm not happy because I am.
No.
It's just really frustrating, bro.
This thing we're doing, it's an unappreciated step into the light, and we're out here putting it on the line. And, I think, I was listening to you as I was getting everything set up to come on. At some point, we have to fight back with every tool. And whether that's fight through the frustration, and, like I mentioned in the comments earlier, whether we got to, go and petition somebody with a cease and desist order. These are things and channels that we can take. And, I just historical reference for me. This is the stuff that people were willing to do 20, 30 years ago on the left that really pushed a lot of the agendas we're seeing today. It started with the courtroom decision on one individual, on certain things, gay rights was one of them, right? Blake was on there tonight talking about how he's been getting hate, getting all sorts of hate, similar to you, just in a different way. It's just it's ignorant discrimination from people who, I'll kind of use the term that was thrown around. They're throwing stones from their own glass houses, And so, when we see this kind of stuff happening, I don't think it's a throw the caution to the wind situation, but We certainly, I think it's time that we take those L's and we push back on them, and we don't have to censor the way we've censored. We've been very careful to dance around specific subjects because, to your point, it's not worth a lot of the drama that it brings. But at the same time, if we want our movement to go right, like it is when we're seeing these things. Censorship is real, right? Like this is, to take it to big picture. It starts this small and ends with a mind prison where you can't even have silent thoughts anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you look the wrong way, then we assume you think the wrong way, right? Like that's where we're at. And I think that's just it's time to fight back. We can do it civilly, but we have to fight back and play not their game, but we have to circumvent their game using the legal channels and those kinds of things.
Facts.
I'm a huge proponent.
Let me see. Censorship. I don't think people think censorship is real. It's kind of like that. I don't even want to call it an urban legend because it's not an urban legend.
Check this out. Let me grab my phone real quick because I'll show you something. I see if it's still out there. It might be bounced, but let me see if I can find it because this was crazy to me. Is in 2019, I'm trying to find my. Kamala Harris posted something on Instagram or something, and this is when kind of censorship was starting to become a thing, right? Like when you could tell there was clearly a push in one direction versus the other, and it was everybody was hitting the title on you button on you or on Facebook and on Twitter and everything, and she posted something. I'm not even sure what it was. I'm going to try and see if I can pull it up right now because it's one of these things that's so insane. I reported her page and then Instagram sent me a message back saying, "Oh, we've deleted Kamala Harris's page."
What?
And yep, I'm going to try and find it right now because it's so crazy. I was blown away by it. I even called my auntie whose husband's a lawyer, and I was like, can you explain to me how this could happen? Okay, all right. So let's see. So all right. So I reported all right, so I reported one of her posts, right? And this is the message that I got back in return from them, all right?
Wow. We've received your report of Kamala Harris video. Thank you for your report. We reviewed it and aren't able to remove it at this time. This is because we can only remove content. Oh, it went dark. That goes against our community guidelines.
Okay.
Okay.
So so that message, look at that date, September 29, 2018, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, trip out.
We've removed Kamala Harris's account because it goes against our standards. What? February 4th. It's not removed. It's up there.
Make it make sense.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Right? So this is what Jay, my man, Jay Starks is in the chat. Hey Jay, what's going on, man? But this is what I'm talking about when I say, look, it hasn't directly impacted me yet. But it's starting to impact the people that I'm trying to elevate and be with. And this is something that happened, around election, after the election happened. I'm getting this strange 2 years later response that we've removed her pay. Like, really? Like that it's just like it's total bullshit, and it's verifiable by just typing in her name on the search
Right.
bar. But it was one of those things where I was literally like, isn't there has to be some sort of legal recourse here? Like there has to be some way to understand where these people reach this first conclusion and why 2 years almost later, at least 18 months later, they're
Right.
returning to it and giving like an honest lie. Like that's like a formulated lie. I don't know. Like, did they not expect me to go click on the page and see if it was still active? Like,
Who
and
knows?
so it's crazy, it's a small piece of kind of what you're dealing with right now, but just I wanted to show that to you because it's wild to me the things they're doing.
It is, man. I'm telling you, I've never felt as like ready to. Today I was like, yo, this is whack. I followed your rules. You have put me in jail for 2 months. I haven't been able to say squat.
Nothing.
I go live and pretty much just smile at the camera.
Right.
And you're taking me down for what? And do you know look, I can't even go live. Can't go live right now to prevent any misuse. What misuse? Like, what did I do?
And yeah, where's the help number? Like, who do you call into right now to say, hey, well, hold on, I have a dispute on this? It's not like a credit card. There's nobody to call in and say, yo, you're full of shit.
Where's it at? I'm gonna see if I can go live from my other pages. Nope. Oh, it says 3 days there. Okay. I'm in jail across the board.
See, that's just insane.
Yep.
So, I guess one of the questions I want, I'm going to pose it, and I know we're in a public format, so you don't have to use names or anything. But what is it that you feel like these people have? Where is this hate and frustration coming from? Will they come on and have a conversation about it?
So here's the thing. The first person I did a show about, and I openly said to them in the chat, I will be doing a show about this incident. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. It was some holiday. I can't remember what day it was, but she was so like dead set. You said you took God's name in vain. Why are you doing that? You're a Christian. I'm like,
oh yeah, okay.
What is your deal? Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other individual who has been talking, they both speak. So I just told her, I'm like, look, be careful because you don't know who these people are. Just like I don't. And this is the very reason that I don't respond to messages. If people ever wonder why popular YouTube personalities or just social media personalities, they don't respond to you and they don't get personable with you, this is why. Because you never know who you're running in contact with. So these two people claimed to hate each other while all the while they're together scamming followers and saying that, hey, I'm a follower of Sunni, can you help me out? Da, 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 I'm conservative. Don't use my name, bro. I don't have nothing to do with what you're doing. And it's crazy because this very same person was in my inbox saying, thank you so much. You helped me feel better today. And then you do this.
So do you feel like this is, so it's clearly personal, right? On some level, there's some personal thing there, right? Are they having conversations and trying to get people to make moves and do things that are, I that's where I guess I'm confused is it just sounds like they're just strictly trying to profiteer, right?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. She tells people to burn my merch. Like all over her profile, she's in pictures of my merch. This is why this is it's a violation. I feel like I've been violated. This person buys my merch. They watch my YouTube. In fact, anytime you see a thumbs down on my YouTube,
That's what that is.
this person.
Okay. All right.
Why are you so invested in me? Like to that point to where what are you gonna escalate to? Like
Right.
that's weird, dude. You're burning merch. She's blocked on everything. They're all blocked on everything.
What's so crazy about that is just it is so akin to what's happening across the country right now, where it's they try to cancel you in they just have a small number of people to do it, like,
Yeah.
But this is what they do when they don't like something around the country right now. They're taking an MO out of the playbook. It sounds like they disagree with. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know anybody, and I don't know if I could do this publicly because I have the Cash App name.
mhm. Well, I mean, if you know, I can't give you legal advice, but I can say
Right.
this is that if they are impersonating you, you have every right, in my opinion, to expose
They're not
what they're
impersonating me.
what
They're
they're
just
doing.
using the fact that they're a follower of me and they need help. Do I know them? No, these are just followers. I have no clue who they are. You know, there's probably 100 of you in a day. I see your messages come in. I may or may not open it. I may or may not respond, but I don't know who I spoke to. I don't know these people. Yeah, me and Kaylee were already talking about it. This
Yeah,
entire situation, it's just frustrating. That's it. I'm not going to quit YouTubing. I'm not going to quit podcasting, but it's frustrating. And this is just a cautionary tale
Mm.
or just for people to understand what we go through as influencers. Yo, people are weird. I'm telling you right now, this is why we do not engage. This is why. Because you never know who you're coming in contact with.
no. You know, when you set out to do something with good intentions and somebody hijacks that by doing something like this, to your point, it is very personal. Like,
Yeah.
what you're doing out here for people, for me, for the audience, is you know, it's not a small order. And I'm just adjacent to you. I just come on the show to kick it and give a little bit of side. You know, you're the main event here, right? And so it's a hard job, no matter what, you know, part of it you're playing, but your role in this is huge, and it's one of those situations. It does make you go like, what? Why do people have this kind of hate in their heart?
Yeah.
Why do they feel a need for you know, to hijack something good and turn it into something
Yep.
none of us intended or wanted or condoned, for that matter, right? And I'll just say this, you know, if somebody truly needs help, I mean, reach out. Like, we're not people who aren't looking to help. In fact, that's the exact thing we want to do. So, you know,
sure.
if you want help, rather than doing it, you know, backhanded, send a message and ask for what you need. You know, we might be able to make that happen. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of us out here that are interested in seeing betterment of people's lives.
Then again, a lot of times it's not even they need something. It's just, I want your attention. That's how, like, the pandemic
Expose people's mental
exposed social awkwardness. It has exposed mental illness on another level.
Mm-hmm.
This is mental illness at its finest. And this is what happens when it goes unchecked and we don't have the resources we need in this country to address these people so they can get help, man.
Yeah.
These women need help.
Think about how crazy it was. I was sending you messages the other night when I was going through the airport, like, yo, people are looking at me all twisted and crazy. And then the other half of these people are like, I wish I had that courage right there. Right. Like, it really has driven, you know, whatever division existed before into hyperdrive. It's like, you know, you don't like the color blue. Well, fuck you. I thought that was my opinion to have, but okay, I guess we can't be cool now. Like, I don't know. You know, this
Not
is
allowed to
life
like
turning
blue, all
into-
right? It's racist. Let me stop. See, and these are the people that I do enjoy talking to. I really do.
Mhm.
But I'm guys, I'm gonna be honest. The weirdos, they ruin it for you. They truly ruin it for you. Because I don't know who's who, and I don't have the time to figure it out. I have the time to come on here, make a video, and get my ass off. And I understand why people do that. And they get flack for it because it's like, you don't engage with your audience. You don't do this with your audience. Yeah, well, when you do, it's some cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs out there.
Straight cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That is
Why would you
so
buy
wild.
why would you spend your money to buy pieces of my merch? Not one, not two, not three. Pieces of my merch. Give them to
yeah.
your family to burn it.
How about you at the very least send it out to Africa where they somebody at least a poor kid could get a shirt on his back, like have some humanity, I guess. I don't know. It's really wild to me. It is. It's such a disrespect. It's crazy.
I found this video. I'm going to share with you guys. It's called Censorship in the US. You guys let me know what you think of it. I'm not going to give my commentator. I'm not going to comment on it yet. I want to know what people think.
What do history, love, and meteor showers have to do with each other? In the United States, they've all been labeled as threatening. Why? Well, the reason is censored.
Episode 4, American Exceptionism.
How the US government works, or really how it doesn't work, is outlined by its Constitution. The First Amendment states Congress shall make no laws prohibiting freedoms of religion, speech, press, and assembly. It doesn't grant these freedoms, it assumes they exist and promises not to get directly in their way. It's a subtle difference. Sometimes. Freedom of speech in the US applies to everyone. The only exceptions have to do with threats. Only the government can make those. Even George Washington considered unflattering truths about himself to be a threat to the nation, so he had his wife Martha destroy them. It would not be the last time a Washington wife lied to make the little people safer. Keeping with that tradition, the US has continued to censor perceived threats. From 1837 to 1967, miscegenation, an archaic term for an interracial relationship, was illegal in Texas. Even talking about it was illegal. But in 1942, Cherokee Maiden, a love song about a white cowboy romancing a First Nations woman, became a country standard. So why wasn't Cherokee Maiden censored in Texas? Well, one could argue those laws were never really about all race mixing in general. African American artists already knew that racial laws were biased against them specifically. To avoid persecution, they used subtext. Brown-Eyed Handsome Man from 1956 doesn't overtly mention interracial romance, just that white women love a brown-eyed man. In 1967, the Supreme Court ruled that all anti-miscegenation laws were violations of the 14th Amendment, which had supposedly guaranteed equal rights and due process to former slaves. Irma Jackson, about an interracial couple who knew their relationship was taboo, was written by a white artist in 1969 after anti-miscegenation laws had been ruled unconstitutional. It was still censored, but not by the government. Columbia Records thought its customers still, quote-unquote, weren't ready for interracial love songs. American companies censor themselves to preserve profits all the time. The Constitution not only doesn't prevent this, it protects it as the company's right. Social change is uncomfortable, and here in the United States, we have a tradition of not distinguishing the difference between discomfort and danger. In 1985, a group of prominent Washington wives, led by Tipper Gore, formed the Parents Music Resource Center. Everywhere they looked, the Washington wives saw references to sex, violence, and Satanism. The PMRC even released a list of the music they most objected to, dubbed the Filthy 15. And it worked. Retailers began agreeing to not sell albums those Washington wives objected to, and record companies agreed to start labeling ones with objectionable material. Before those labels became official, in 1985 there was an open Senate hearing on the subject. At the hearing, Tipper Gore and the PMRC made their case against what they called porn rock. Sex, drugs, violence, and the occult had taken over music in America. Gosh. Dee Snider, lead singer of famed hair metal band Twisted Sister, had a song on the PMRC's Filthy 15, but argued that his work was often misinterpreted. The song Under the Knife had been cited by Mrs. Gore as containing references to sadomasochism, bondage, and rape. Mr. Snyder, the author of the song, informed the U.S. Senate that it was actually about surgery. Tipper Gore had labeled the song obscene, though, and she found what she was looking for regardless. When the PMRC saw John Denver, lead singer of John Denver, at the hearings, they assumed he was there to take their side. But he wasn't. Rocky Mountain High had been pulled from radio stations for supposedly being about drug use. But Mr. Denver wrote it about watching a meteor shower. He also noted that by labeling some albums as dangerous, it would only create a taboo and actually increase their desirability. Also in attendance was musical pioneer Frank Zappa, who pointed out that traditionally, First Amendment issues are decided with a preference for minimal restriction. This wasn't just about music, this was about a radical misuse of government. Despite a stampede of reasons they were a bad idea, the PMRC got their explicit lyrics labels, because Tipper Gore's paranoid misinterpretations of popular songs were the sort of expertise Americans listened to. Or, as Mr. Zappa once put it, America is a nation of laws, poorly written and randomly enforced. Just like with anti-miscegenation laws, Tipper stickers, as they came to be known, were selectively applied disproportionately to African Americans. What a surprise. Big record labels regularly caution artists about the financial dangers of receiving a warning. Because, as it turns out, taboos really are attention-grabbing. In the early 1990s, Me So Horny was a song that shocked lots of listeners. But the extra attention that the explicit lyrics labels brought allowed the artist to bypass big record companies completely. And so censorship was forever a thing of the past in the United States of America, and law enforcement never overstepped its boundaries again. Ha! Fuck no, are you kidding me? The United States offers the greatest legal protection of free speech in the world. But legal protection is only theoretical until it's enforced. There will always be gaps in enforcement. But in America, those gaps engulf whole communities. Selective enforcement turns laws into the teeth of prejudice. Labels allow groups to be targeted in plain sight. And a systemic confusion between danger and discomfort makes it all legal. Of course, all this happened back in the 20th century. What happened to American culture and laws next? A couple things. Want to like censored? Sure. Want to subscribe? Great.
What'd you think of that first episode? Oh, you're muted.
I thought it was pretty interesting. So I took away from that video, they kind of circle back to it towards the end a little bit, and they don't hammer it as hard, but they start the video with specifically talking about corporations. And how corporations typically are taking the lead in free speech movements. Mm-hmm. And at the end, they kind of close it out showing the three different hands reaching in to entangle a person. It's a pretty powerful visual of, I mean, you could call it Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter right now. I would akin it to, right? In that sense, I took away from it that, and this is kind of goes back to what I said. I think it was last night that I said this, that I'm a conservative and not a Republican, and it's for this very reason. I am not okay with private companies censoring private citizens, and that is essentially what I took away from the video, and I believe that to be what we are dealing with right now in this specific moment is exactly that, where large corporations have moved the needle. And so what's to come next? Government legislation, without a doubt.
Bingo. You think censorship is just, they're just silencing you on the internet. Well, move to another platform. Like, this is what people say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not moving to another platform.
And look what happens. Look what happens when people do. They
get snatched down.
They get shut down, and then their viability as a company also falls with them. I mean, yeah, we could all go to Rumble, and we could all go to other platforms, but those platforms, although may in the long run be successful, they have in the short term been retarded from growth because of the immediate censorship that was put on them without any interference from the federal government to say you can't do that.
Yep.
And I'll just tie that into, and remember, Amazon Web Services is the largest hosting company in the world, and Bezos is the head of that company. So like, I'm going to start calling these people who they are by name, because it's important, I think, for the public, not just our viewers, but anybody who gets informed and can make this argument in their own home. Know who these people are: Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack from Twitter. You could go out and you could talk to the billionaires putting money and pumping it into these different organizations. That's I think a little bit of a different conversation. But if you don't think that they're putting money, at least from a dollar standpoint, as shareholders into these companies, then we're missing the mark on some of those things too. So when people say that there's people behind the scenes kind of pulling the strings, I don't think what we're talking about is a shadow government. What we're talking about is large corporations creating the front-facing policy that will become government policy down the road.
What it is I was never really centered on Facebook for any outside of anything political. So you come to Facebook, you can put your thoughts up here, whatever. Never been censored. When big tech entered the political realm, there was like this big ass hammer that went smack. They're going to push pieces of legislation that hurt American first legislation. We're not going to have American first legislation anymore. I feel like it's going to be in the coming years. All we are to these people are pieces of data. And so, data is worth gold. They get rich.
Will you indulge me in a little conspiracy here tonight, Suni?
Sure.
Okay. So, we talk. I talk a lot about on the global scale, because I love to follow the global scale. It just paints a very interesting picture for me to my personal level, where I can make decisions on where I spend my money, who I support, what types of media I watch and participate in, what kinds of conversations I'll allow myself to go to. And so, I'll just put this out there. Now, I'm shooting from the hip a little bit here. I haven't fact checked this, but I do know that there is a lot of Chinese money in all of these companies. Okay. And what China is capable of doing, I think people just fundamentally, they underestimate the goal and the desire to achieve this goal. And so, when we look at our social media companies and we see them censoring specific points of view, ours in particular, where it is America First agenda, that's the only way to classify what we're talking about is America First. The disagreement about the semantics, we'll have all of those, but we always are talking about America First agenda. So for any social media group to be censoring a America First agenda, when those companies sit inside the United States, reap the benefits of our tax system, and ultimately use our data to send to some of the highest shareholders in their businesses, and those are the Chinese CCP, right? That's not the Chinese people, and I want people to not get those twisted, because this is where the sentiment of anti-Asian hate crime comes from. The CCP is the government structure. The Chinese people are by and large innocent in this situation. They are not for these actions. They do not agree by and large with their current government and their association with the world. But let's not get it twisted. These media companies are not serving the United States, which is the company that harbors them as a business and gives them tax benefits and all sorts of rewards to be here. And instead, they farm our information out. They're taking lucrative deals in other countries. In fact, Facebook, it's one of these it's such a hypocritical thing. Facebook and Twitter cannot operate in China unless they follow certain sets of rules. And Facebook is so far has done this. They have bended the knee and said, okay, we will absolutely 100% remove anything we don't feel supports the CCP agenda.
Listen,
What more proof, you know?
Facebook here is completely different from Facebook in the US. There are certain
Mhm.
features that you all have there that I don't have on my phone right now. In Europe, because
Mhm.
this is considered a European area, per Facebook, it's Asia,
Right.
but you cannot start watch parties. They give you notifications when it comes through. Europe is going through some sort of community standard change. Okay, what are we doing? They took away the watch party feature. They have limited the amount of people you can invite. It's a much lower. It's low for you guys in the US, but I can't send not one invite anywhere. It's mind-boggling to me how nobody can see where we're headed. This is 1984, man.
Well, you know, one of the craziest things is the First Amendment protects something that I think is really important, and I think that we've got somebody. Bill Barr kind of touched on this on his way out. Now, I don't have great things to say about Bill Barr, but I think he was relatively a straight shooter for most of things. There was some off-putting things about him towards the end as he left off at his post, but. One of the most important things that we have in this country is freedom to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
And when the restrictions for COVID came, they effectively suspended that constitutional right, and that's a First Amendment right. It's the freedom of speech and also the freedom of assembly. And so they skirted our rights and forced us all to come onto platforms. And the argument being made from the conservative point of view is that this effectively now is the public square. So what right do these tech companies have to censor my speech in a place where I am free to assemble and express my opinion? And that shows the subservience to either one. It's an allegiance to somebody, because what they're not doing is letting everybody voice an opinion. So they're immediately wiping out the public square from a policy standpoint by making us all go home. And then when we all go to the place where we can assemble and have these conversations, they're now saying, well, one side of this group cannot have any more opinions.
Right. When I look at things like you said at a worldview,
it gets real heavy.
Yeah, it does, because you know what they're
right?
after. All they care about is data. Data is a new currency. It is how you know any and everything about somebody without having to walk through their front door, bro. All these apps we got on our phone, what the fuck do you think they're doing on here?
Look, if people think Black Mirror wasn't created to condition you, it's so great. It's so great. I love it. I buy in it. I love it. But let's get real. Like, this is where we're headed. That China is on a social currency right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to buy something, if you don't have good social credit,
you don't purchase.
You don't get to purchase, or it's a higher price. Like, tell me how that's any different than what we're dealing with with what we're going on through the vaccine right now. Tell me, how is this any different? Really, we're starting to tell people, well, you have to have this or you have to wear a mask. Social currency. I read something, and I haven't fact checked this, but I did read something the other day. It was about concerts that are coming for the concert series here in the States in the summer, right? Mm-hmm. And they were talking about it was going to be $18 per ticket for people who were able to show proof of having their vax, and $1,000 if you wanted to come. You're more than welcome to come, but you had to pay $1,000 per ticket. Now, that could have just been like I saw it on, scrolling through Instagram, and it was kind of a meme deal. But like, people, are we not close to that? Or are we not there yet? Or because it's as far as I know, the next update coming from Apple will have a way for you to upload and scan a QR code to let you know what you are or not. Like, it's real
Look,
wild.
Data is the new gold. Popped in my head. Okay. I've never searched this. I've never Googled it. I'm like, I want to see if there's any videos about this and how long they've been out as far as what your data means to the government and all these big tech corporations. We're going all the way back to 5 years ago. And these exact titles in this video, let me show you. It says data is the new currency. Where, oh, where, Lord, have people's minds gone? This is all I typed in. And immediately I got a shit ton of videos at my fingertips talking about data being a new currency. This is nothing but the new world order.
I mean, I hate being a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, if people
Keep
don't
talking,
see
I'll
how
be right back.
if people don't see how China is buying our country slowly and methodically, it's concerning to me, guys. And I just, we are in an inflection point in our history right now where, we get to decipher whether are we going to continue to censor ourselves for the sake of what these media companies want, who are probably going to censor us anyways, or are we going to kind of push back through whatever legal channels we can? And the reason I bring up this social credit score is because, who wants to be the guy who's having a bad day? You get on the train and there's two people angry at you, and you speak up, say something, and they're able to downgrade you. And by the time you get off the subway, you're lesser of a citizen. These are the real concerns I have. And what SUNY's dealing with right now from a censorship standpoint is it seems to be very targeted, whether it's just from four individuals and algorithms that we've got going on. It's a big question, guys. And so, when we're talking about these things, it's important to put your understanding around it, and then try and understand it from a worldview, because it's kind of a crazy life we're living right now. Let's hear it in the comments sections. I think you guys, tell me, what are some of your opinions of what's going on? I see Georgianne here says they had Germans with cards identifications that they were not Jews, VAT cards, and then the Jews with stars on their clothes, aka masks. Yeah, I mean, this is right. So one of the things that I've said before, it's pretty important to recognize, like, the small stepping orders that happened, that led to the Holocaust happening, were not overnight. This did not happen in an immediate fashion. It's not like one day they woke up and everything they owned was being ransacked, and it was gone. The important thing to realize is that this was a step-by-step process. It was methodical, and it took a lot of time. Absolutely. We are being canceled as conservatives right now. And one of the things I have seen, Pam, and I'll just I'll bring you up in this because you're the one that made the comment, but sometimes the Dems do eat their own. And I've seen that happen, and it's an interesting thing. Unfortunately, for every Dem that eats themselves, they have about 5 other ones ready to throw into the pile. just a personal opinion, I guess, on that one. But I think it is an interesting point of view on that. But guys, I think, me and SUNY have been talking about it a little bit, and it's time. I think all of us have to be willing to speak out against this censorship. And sometimes that's going to require legal channels. Pam says, I'm sure Dems are going to wake up in time to save themselves. They might. I think, so Pam, we've talked on this subject a little bit here on the show, quite a bit, is that we see from a lot of their actions that they're willing to. I'll give an example. Like, you have New York, where you have Governor Cuomo. I mean, my goodness, that guy should be out of office, but undoubtedly they will cover that narrative and keep pushing it, right? So it's pretty weird, you know. A basic female says Fauci's emails were leaked today. Yeah, they do destroy the COVID narrative. It really it puts a marker on something he said he never was, which is that he was a partisan person and had some interesting points of views. Whether or not they influenced his decision making, I haven't done enough research into the leaks that happened today. And actually, just to be clear, they weren't leaked. They were actually done through a Freedom of Information Act. So these are emails that were done through there. So I don't know, what exactly will come of this, but I think it's just confirmation that the censorship is more incredible than it's ever been, in the sense that we've known, I think, from the get that there was something missing in the equation that got us to not being in clear in our understanding of what's going on. So I think that's a fair evaluation, but I don't know how much of it's distraction versus how much of it's factual evidence of mishandling of a situation. Guys, I'm just kind of reading through your comments right now while we wait for Suni to get back, but we'll keep going a little bit. No, you're good. I was just rocking out with the crowd right now. Get out of here. Go back. Do what you were doing. I was having fun.
Hi, guys. Man, so my husband's trying to cheer me up.
He's like, come on. Shoulders back,
really
eyes
cool
forward.
Cat.
Let's go.
He's like, I found a really cool cat. Do you want it? And I'm like, he's like, oh, it's a stray. And oh yeah, it's kind of skittish, and he's got like fleas all over him, but we could take him to the animal clinic and get him all squared away. I'm like, okay, well, where is it? Oh, he's in a ditch by the, on base. And I'm like, so I have to pick it up. He's like, yeah, just put on some gloves, get a plastic bin, throw him in there and take him on to the clinic. And I was like,
Yo, your husband sounds tight, because that's exactly some shit I would do with my wife. I'd be like, hey, babe, hey, like, let's go down the street. I saw a dog just chilling on the corner. It looks like it's all busted up, ready to go, but let's bring it home.
He's like, it's like a month old. It's really, he's really cute. He's got blue eyes. I'm like, yeah, but he's got fleas. I'm like, I don't want it in my house. And he's like, no, just take it to the clinic. And I'm like, you can't tell the MPs to get it. Like, I don't want to grab this cat.
That's so funny. I mean, I was hoping that story was going to end if he pulls out a cart with the for the loop right there.
I love that guy, man. That's my best friend.
That's cool. That's so funny.
He's so funny. I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, finally a cat. Because everybody knows I want a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, yeah, it's got fleas on the side of the road. I was like, what the
Hey, that busted ass cat might be the one. You don't know.
Facts,
you don't know.
Oh.
Changing lives everywhere. Maybe that cat just needs a little change.
Make sure your husband does that for you. If your husband finds a stray cat for you, okay? I know he put effort into it because he knew the color of the eyes, how big it was, where it was at. And he's like, I said, yeah, I'll go when I go get the kids. He's like, nah, you should probably go like soon. I'm like, so you want the cat too then? You're just trying
to... He's just trying to butter you up with it. Yeah, I got all the details. It's just,
oh, man.
I just want it to be your decision.
Okay. I'm sorry I derailed the show.
No, you're good. I was just spitballing with the comment section. We were just having a blast over here.
Oh, man.
This is good.
The cat better be grateful.
Better be grateful.
No, I'll probably grab it. Now I'm gonna be a little scared to get it because they have claws and he's got little fleas. It doesn't take nothing for a flea to hop off on you and then enter into my living quarters, and then it'll be a problem because I don't like that. But I'm gonna go get him. I'm gonna go get him. I just want you guys. We are going through it. As influencers. Primetime Patriots, Russo, Eric is experiencing it with us. Terrence K. I haven't seen Candace Owens. As much as Candace Owens says she's censored, bro.
She's
I
up
almost
everywhere
want
though.
I almost want to smack like shut up.
Yo, but
That's where I'm at.
so she gives me a little hope in the sense though that she has sued Facebook and successfully
Yes.
won. So this is what I'm talking about when I say, listen, it's not time to go out in the street with pitchforks, people, but it's
Right.
certainly damn time to throw a few $100s at a cease and desist order. That's just a couple of hours at an attorney's office, a few $100, and you make it happen, right? So, we have tasteful ways to fight back. And so I'm not, I know as riled up as it all is, it's not time to go out there and get angry and bust down doors over this stuff. It's just time that we, as a general population, not the select few, and look, I'm not the Q guy, but General Flynn, I think is a good example. He fought back, and eventually it worked out for him. Now, did he make some bad decisions off the get that kind of washed him out a little bit? Yep. And have we made some bad decisions? Yep. Yeah. Crowder's suing Facebook and YouTube. Yep. And so, guys, like there are people that are more influential than we are, and maybe more so than we ever hope to be even, that are doing this right now. But at some point, we're the everyman. And so we have to push back too. Otherwise, they're going to get, I would say they would fall into an elite class at that point, and they're going to still continue to push that. So everybody who doesn't fight back is going to get left behind, right?
Yep. I'm appreciative for her too.
Yeah.
And I just, it's frustrating, okay, because this is how we communicate with you guys. And it's also like, why do I care? This is a battle I have in my head. It's like, why do I care? Because all they're doing is collecting all this information on me just to, at some point in time, smack me in the face with it. They're doing it to cash.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, you know what? It's worth it because people get to see the truth. Like the truth and see what's actually happening. I was live for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And in those 30 minutes, I was snatched down for no reason other than somebody. It's either Facebook watching my profile or somebody is reporting it, or it's a combination of both. Our data is a new currency, man. And we have to get on, not even get on board with, but just wake up to what's actually going on.
Yeah. So Amber, what was taken down was just Suni, her very presence. That's it. Literally, like her being on Facebook was what got her taken down. So like that's targeted. It's pointed. See, and this is the crazy part, right? I had notification on because I knew you were getting your page back. I was excited for you. I was going to be there, throwing comments, doing the whole thing, and it didn't give me it didn't hit me with a notification. Yeah. So I mean, we can see our viewership right now even is just tanked, right? Like
tanked.
What does it take? For and look, I mean, still we've got 100, probably more than that, people watching, but 100 people can make tremendous difference. So I'll encourage all of you guys. We're talking about what we can do from our end, and some of it's litigious, and we're going to talk about that. But we really have to go and fight against this stuff in every way we can. Yeah, exactly.
How fucked up is that? I started following you, and ever since I started following you, I go to jail.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm sorry, guys. I was literally having fun. But you know what? I'm not going to let it get me down. It was very frustrating, I won't lie, because you can't fight them back. Like at this level that we're at, just using their services, I can't call them and be like, bro, why are you taking my stuff down? I can't even send them an email to be like, what's wrong with my content? It says disagree with decision. And you know what it says after that? Thank you. We'll factor this into your Facebook experience. What?
What does that even mean? So I'm going to show this again for because we didn't when we started the show. Not everybody was in here, and I think this is this is one of the weird. So I showed Suni, and I think there's probably like 5 people in here watching at the time, but this is like one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen ever. And it's not like it's just okay. So I'm going to throw my phone up to the screen here. Okay, I'm going to read it for you guys first, and then you can I'll show it to you. Okay. So on September 28th of 2019, or excuse me, 2018, I was in a little different mindset, hating Kamala at the time and saying, you know what, if they're going to play this game, I'm going to play right back. And so I reported a post from Kamala, and in that post, I posted it because she had posted something. It was kind of like a Maxine Waters style call to action, just one of those dumb things. And they say to me back, thank you for your report. We've reviewed this photo and we aren't able to remove it at this time. This is because we only remove content that goes our community guidelines. If you don't want to see Kamala Harris on Instagram, you can unfollow, mute, or block them to hide their posts and comments from your feed. Now, I agree with that sentiment. That's a very good sentiment to have. Like, that should be the MO for most people, is if you don't like it, just tune the hell out. But they go on, reports like yours are important, right? Okay, so now let's fast forward two and a half, like almost 2 years later. Okay, so I get a message on Instagram saying we've removed Kamala Harris's account because it goes against, and this is again, I'll show you the date up here at the top, because it goes against our community guidelines. Thank you for reporting this account. We've removed it from Instagram because it does go against our community guidelines, right? And then the very next thing I do is I go into Kamala Harris's site, and boom, here it is. Here's the message. Here's the original. Here's 2 years later, and here's her page still being active. Make it make sense.
Oh man. Tell me you don't censor conservatives without telling me you don't censor conservatives. Her page is gone, but not really.
But not really. Just we wanted to make you feel like you were good, and just so you know, F you, right? Like
man. Today was a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. But you're back.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna come back tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm going to give this 24 hours. And if I can't go live within 24 hours, I'm just going to spam the hell out of IG. I'm posting. I take screenshots of all this stuff. Every time I try to go live, I'm taking a picture of the, for as long as it goes on, of the reasoning, which they don't give you a freaking reason, just you misused live. How? I don't know, because I was sitting there smiling. And when you hit disagree, I'm going to take a picture of the response. You don't get to talk to them. You don't get to do anything. You just have to sit and take it. Most people don't care about social media because they don't have people following them. This is not their lane. This is not their job. But I do. I don't understand how Kamala Harris can have a profile that you said was taken down, but I can't even go live. Now, granted, I can still post, which I'm grateful for, but the fact that you have turned off my live capabilities is what's irritating me the most.
It's perpetual insanity, and we don't have to participate. And that's the key here, is we don't have to, but we're going to continue to do this, and we don't have to participate in their games. So next steps, right? So like Tuni said, 24 hours, right? She's going to give them, she's put effectively Facebook, you on notice.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, bro, people are crazy as fuck. I just got a message, right? It says, I tried to warn you, but you want to be the woman being mugged repeatedly at the southeast bus stop by the same blind assailant. Stop the nonsense. Facelanes.com. Who's on Face Lanes? Raise your hand.
What is? I mean, I'm gonna ask the obvious. What is that? Face lanes.
I don't know. Ask Mark. I don't
Mark?
like what? What? Now I feel like I want to engage with him. Let's
Hey,
have fun.
send Mark the StreamYard. Let's get him out here. Come on,
I
bring him in
know,
now.
what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What is Face Lanes, bro? You can still go live there and send your invite base. Leave the crap behind on Facebook. So you compare me getting mugged every day to the fact that I'm choosing to be on Facebook.
Got it.
And then you tell me to come over to Face Lanes. And nobody knows what that shit is. I don't want to talk to I want to talk to the youth. I want to talk to people my age. I don't just want to talk to the older generation. I'm 30, bro. My sister's
32.
18. I want to talk to her. She ain't on no damn face lanes, whatever he said.
No.
I sent him the link. He's just looking at it.
Let's see if we can get a bite. Bring him on, Mark. That's crazy. That's super weird. See, but to this point, right? Like maybe this guy's got some social media platform. He thinks he can do something, but let's be pragmatic. Like the social media companies are so damn big. It's like I live here in California where I got two options for power. It's called have power or don't have power. And there's only one company to provide it to me. So like, it's crazy the things that they'll do for these. Yep, Autumn, we out there fishing.
He stopped responding now.
Oh, he got scared.
Don't tell me I'm gonna get robbed
Every
every day. Oh wait. And then he says, StreamYards is nice, but not anti-human trafficking protocols. They don't have in terms that employees can't fish or employment killing content. What? Oh my mofo. Click the link, dude.
Dog, just come on here and say what you're trying to say so that we can, if your place is good, we'll go over to it. Come over to StreamYard and explain to me what you're talking about.
Right.
And it's not I didn't realize it was pro trafficking. I guess I must have missed that. Sounds like a fake platform. Yeah, sure does. Face lanes. What is that, bro? Come on.
I don't know.
Face lanes.
I think I'm gonna type it in. See.
Let's hit
Y'all
the
about to
Google.
get me in trouble. I was supposed to go pick up this cat and I'm on here doing this. Facelanes.com. Well, it's already taking forever to load. I don't like it.
That sounds like you sounds like you about to get hacked. Yeah, it does look like it's a.
Now look, I'm not shitting on your creation, man. It's cool that you
No.
even built a website, but no. No.
Yeah, I can already tell you that ain't gonna work for me.
No.
Sorry, bro.
You're required to log in before revealing private policy. I don't like
Mhm.
that already.
That seems like it doesn't.
We
Hey,
filed an
you know what, man? I mean, where you at? Where you live at, Mark?
TikTok, bro.
TikTok. Well, shoot. Yeah, no, I think, Suni, I think what's happening to you is crazy. This is, we got to go and we got to do something here because it's enough. It's one thing to have the platform shut down for a small period of time. It's another thing to have it consistently being pushed down, and whether that's a couple of individuals or some algorithm issues and stuff. Like, let's push back.
Man, telling you, man. This is why people have security in their life. I I want security when I come home.
Don't tell me you're gonna go LeBron on me, and you need like.
Look, I need security. Security. I need to go to the grocery store.
They
Go pick up my
defunded the
kids.
security. They defunded that. Get out of here. They ain't around no more.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord, it's so
Well,
great.
Mark is taking too long, and I don't have patience.
Mm-mm.
Thank you guys for sitting here listening to me vent. I hope
Hey,
you
hold
have
up.
a little. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was gonna say this, Mrs. K. I grew up in Rockland, which is just right next door to Granite Bay. Spent a lot of time hanging out there with girlfriends and stuff. Just she asked where I was at from. I live in Southern California now, but that's my stomping grounds.
Hey, look, I'm like, that's what I'm thinking while I'm sitting here looking like I'm looking at him respond. You're the owner of the website, which means you have everybody's personal info at your fingertips. Nah, bruh. Nah, dog.
All right, go get that cat. Have a good night. Let's give
Y'all have a good
Facebook.
evening.
Facebook, you're on notice. 24 hours, and then soon he's gonna get you.
It's on. I better be able
24.
to go live tomorrow. We'll see.
The end of Douglas. All right. Well, Mrs. K, listen, thank you for being a special education teacher. Your work is important. I appreciate you. Community up there appreciates you. We got a good people up there in Placer County. Love that area. Has my heart. I was just up there last weekend. Thank you.